Alright guys, so now in section 8.2, what we're going to have here is we're now going to be discussing making output decisions. Alright, so we already have perfect competition, we talked about that. So now let's figure out what output are they going to be doing. Okay? So since perfect competition firms are price takers, then they do not have to worry about setting the price. So the price is just given to them. They just need to worry about, okay, well, based off of that price, how much stuff can I make? They only need to worry about producing the quantity that is going to give them the most profit. Because that is what you do as a business. You want to make the most profit. So each firm is going to have different costs. Now the reason they have different costs is just because they have different machines, different inputs. Maybe they have different labor. Maybe they have more efficient labor. Maybe they have less efficient labor. Right? There are different things that are going to affect the cost of making the identical product that somebody else has. So that's very important information, okay? Because we're going to do stuff, and you're going to say like, okay, all firms make a profit. Nope, only a few make a profit. The other ones might be making a loss because they might not be efficient enough. So very important. Each firm is going to have the want to maximize profits. All right, and this is going to occur at the quantity where the total revenue, the difference between the total revenue and the total cost is the greatest. Okay, or the largest. Basically, your total cost is here, but you're selling, total revenue here. So that the bigger the gap, right, the more profit you have. All right, that's what we're looking at. Where is the maximum profit happening? All right, so let's take a look at what total revenue, total cost, and profit are. So total revenue is just how much money you're making from selling something. So we have the price of the t-shirt, and then we have the quantity. So price times quantity, total revenue. Now total cost, right? We discussed this in the last chapter. This is the fixed cost, right? The rent, right? And we have to pay the labor for it, so that's the variable cost. So total cost is going to be the total fixed cost plus the total variable cost. So when it comes to the total cost, right, we know it looks something like this, where we start off here, we go, and then it goes upward. Okay. Total revenue is going to look something like this. When you're selling 0 t-shirts for $5, how much revenue do you have? 0. All right, but as you are making more quantity, all right, this is increasing. Okay, so it's going to be a linear line. Okay, just showing you just price times quantity. All right, so the red line is your total revenue, and the green line is your total cost. So looking at this situation here, okay, what is happening here? In the beginning, right, you have to pay the rent, and you're not selling anything. So you're making $0, but you do have to pay the rent. So this area right here, because the total cost is greater than the total revenue, this is what we call a loss. A loss meaning you are losing money by, by trying to sell something. Right now, every time you are selling t-shirts, you are not having profit. You're having a loss. Okay? But what are you noticing here? As we make more t-shirts, that cost is going down, right? So right here. At this point right here, at this quantity, what's happening? They are intersecting. So what does this mean? This means that the total revenue, the red line, is equal to the total cost. What do we call this? Whenever you're making $50 in revenue and it costs you $50, right? So in terms of profit, because profit is total revenue minus total cost, and if your total revenue is 50 and your total cost is 50, your profit is 0. Okay? So when this happens, we call this the break-even point. Basically, you're breaking even in the sense that it cost you this much money and you're making this much money, and they're the same. It's even. Okay? But then what's happening? All right, now we're having a situation where the total revenue, right, the red line, is above the total cost. So now you're making money, and you're making more than what it cost you. So this area right here is profit. So this entire area right here, anywhere where the red line is more than the green line, that's where total revenue is more than total cost. That is profit. And then all of a sudden we are increasing, and because of the law of diminishing marginal productivity, right, the cost is going to go higher. So now we're in the loss again. So this is the other break even. And then we have losses because the total cost is more than the total revenue. All right. So that's what the total revenue and the total cost look like. All right. And then that is what losses are, and that's what profit looks like. Okay. So make it simple. If I were to ask you to draw total revenue, you start at 0 and you just draw a diagonal line. For total cost, you have to start here because of the total fixed cost. That's where you start. Okay, and then you just draw a line here showing you that, it's going like that. So a little like, it's like an S, right? And so this area right here is your losses. These are your losses here. And here is your profit. Okay. Now, another way we could look at this information is we can look at it on a chart. Okay, so with the chart, you have the quantity, total cost, total revenue, and you have profit. All we're doing here is the same thing. You're doing the total revenue minus the total cost. All right, so we'll do 0 minus 62, and that equals negative 62. Now, what are you noticing about cost? Where does it start? Like, it doesn't start at 90, it starts at 62. So what is that 62? That is the fixed cost. So your total fixed cost is 62. So yes, there is a fixed cost. Now, if we are going to be producing more, the cost is going to be higher because of the variable cost. So how much is the variable cost when the producing quantity 42? Let's do 40. Okay, quantity is 40. Okay, when the quantity is 40, what's the total variable cost? Well, total fixed cost is 62. And remember, fixed cost does not change. So 138 minus 62, so that should be 76. So the total variable cost should be 76. All we did was the total cost minus the total fixed cost, and that equals the variable cost. Now, when is most of the profit earned? Well, it's going to be earned, let's see, negative 22, 50, 75, 90, 64, 0, so 90. That's going to be the highest profit we have. So it's going to be either at Q70 or 80. Those are your two options for the maximum profit. And what are we noticing about total revenue? Like, it is increasing, right? So we are making money in terms of, like, the more we sell, the higher the revenue. But how much is the revenue changing? Like, every time we make something, how much is it increasing? So looking here, right, every time we make 10 t-shirts, we're increasing by $40, right? So that change there, okay, that is what we're really trying to look at. We really want to focus on those marginals, the marginal revenue and the marginal cost. That's really what we want to look at. Okay? Because with that, we're able to find out the maximum profit. Because you could do it this way. All right, you really could, and we did it, right? Q70 or 80. You really could do that. You could also do it with the marginal revenue and the marginal cost. So marginal revenue is going to be that additional revenue gained from selling one more unit. That's what marginal revenue is. It's that change in the revenue divided by the change in quantity. Okay, so for that other example, we kept increasing by 40, and every time the quantity changed by 10. So in this example here, the marginal revenue would be 40 divided by 10, so that would be 4. So the marginal revenue would be 4. Marginal cost is going to be the same idea, where it's going to be the cost for the additional unit. Every time you're making more, how much does it cost you? So for that one, we're going to do the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. So for that, again, change in quantity is 10, and change in cost here is 28. Change in cost here is 20. So you would have to find the marginal cost for each one, but it's the same idea. So let's do the first one. It'd be 28 divided by 10. So that would be 2.8. So the profit maximizing choice for a perfectly competitive firm will happen wherever marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So let's take a look at that real quick here. Since the change in the quantity are the same for the revenue and the cost, we can still do this. So let's do this. So that's 16. This is 12. That is 12. This is 15. This is 25. That is 40. That is 69. That is 104. And that's 150. All right, and then as we know here, this is 40 the whole way down. So where is the marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost? Right here. Whenever you do the 80th unit, that is where you have the maximum profit. Now you're wondering, why not 70? And that's true, right? But what about 71, 72, right? So that's why we do 80. Because 80 is where the marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So that's where the maximum is happening. Because so basically the idea is that whenever your marginal revenue is more than your marginal cost, which happens here, because when you made the 70th unit, your marginal revenue is 40, but your marginal cost is 25. So you're still having a situation where your marginal revenue is greater than your marginal cost. So you're making more money than it cost you to make the extra unit. So why not keep making more? So that's why we want to do 80. Even though they're both 90 in profit, your maximum profit in terms of margin revenue, marginal cost is like you're still making more money at the 80. Okay, so that's why you always do equal to margin revenue equals marginal cost. Like that's the best you can do. All right, so let's do another example here. Okay, using marginal analysis, let's figure out the profit maximizing quantity. So, we kind of already did this, right, where we were going here to here, here to here, and so let's do that real quick. So that'll be 28. Oh, sorry, marginal revenue. So this will be 40 the whole way down, right, and then we get down to here. Okay, and then this will be 25, 40, 69, or 66. Oh, sorry, 66 here. My bad. Okay, and so so what we would do here is we would find out where they're equal, which is here, and so you would produce 80. So what is the profit maximizing quantity? 80 widgets, 80 apples, 80 t-shirts, right? That's what we're doing here. Okay. So that's how marginal analysis works. Marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. That's the idea. Okay. In the next video, I'll break down what the perfect competition graph will look like. It's going to be fun. I'll see you there.